Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Damayanti. I'm from 9.5 with tunnelers number 11. I will present my research with the title of Efforts to Face the Differences of Opinion between Citizens Toward Vision and Missions of Presidential Candidates. So, the problem is democracy is involving all the people of the nations to conduct election. In elections, of course, have candidates. Each candidate have its own vision and missions. In the spirit of dissent is common in democracy. Difference of opinion can further open the brain and have another good impact. This election was different because many conflicts emerged, such as political polarizations. So it's happened because of the different opinion between each peoples to defend or to support their own candidates. I have two problem formulations. The first is how the way to face the differences between opinions towards citizens toward vision and missions, and the second was what are the impacts after each presidential candidate conveys their vision and missions. So I have three data to answer that two problem formulations. The first is the recapitulations of KPU about the voice that each presidential candidates have. In these elections, there are over 164 voices that choose presidential candidate in this year. And in this data, it can be concluded that presidential candidates number 2 are Prabowo and Gibran won the elections. And then data number 2 is about every presidential elections has political polarization that occurs. It can be known that political polarization is the division of society and addressing issues. So it's happened because there are three presidential candidates, and each of president have its own support team, such as like in the government or maybe the citizens. From that, people's support or choose them based on the thing that they convey, like in the media socials. And then the third data, it can be concluded that in these elections, 80% of the people that choose their president in these elections is based on the vision and missions. So from that, it can be concluded that the analysis is with the number of votes that more over 164 millions, every society certainly has a president candidate of their own choosing. In these elections, the community judge each candidate from the visions and missions. Because of the different visions and missions, each presidential support team, such as citizen, choose them from the program that they have said, such as Ganjar, which have a program such as KTP Sakti, and then Prabowo that have a program such as free food. And then from that, each of the citizens in Indonesia have different opinion from the program, and they have their own right to choose who's they want to choose. And then from that, because of the different opinions, it can, if the citizen not face it with perfectly, then it will cause a politic polarization. So what is politic polarizations? Politic polarizations is the differences of opinion between citizens because they want to support of their finding their own president candidate. With that, the impact is there will be separatism between two citizens or group of citizens that have a different opinions. With that, the political polarizations can give a bad impact in Indonesia. The first such as the broken of democracy and the stability of country. Then what we do is maintain unity by respecting each others and strengthen the democratic role for government. Okay, the conclusion is to answer my problem formulations, the first is to face the different opinions between citizens toward vision and missions, and president candidates can do by community and government. The first is can do by community by maintaining each others, and then strengthen the dialogue and hard work between citizens. And then the government, they can strengthen the law of elections and implement and following the election law. And then the second is the impact of president candidates that convey their vision and mission is, of course, a different opinion. A different opinion is a common take in election. So from that, because everyone has their own understanding, different innovation and mission can trigger a constructive exchange of ideas so as to improve the quality of democracy. My suggestion is, as community, we should maintain unity by respecting each other, allowing communication between groups, and the government must enforce the law for provoking or conflict-raising actors. Any questions?
Tadi di bagian analisa, Mbak Carissa menyampaikan bahwa polarisasi itu sangat berbahaya bagi demokrasi dan bukan mungkin sih lebih ke arah stabilitas keamanan negara. Nah, bagaimana bisa seperti itu? Terima kasih.
Okay, so to answer that questions, why is polarization politics can disturb democracy and disrupt the stability of country? The first is because elections is the source of people that is separate because they have their own they have their own choice with its visions. And then the second is because there is intolerance. Intolerance can decrease dialogue and work together between community, such as examples like they separate each others because they have their own opinion. And then the third is because of the instability between politics and economy. So the politics is the government can run the program because they decrease because the lack of support, because such as like there is political polarizations or even like campaign. And then the third is because the instability of economy, because the decrease of infestations and economy, it can decrease the harmony of each citizens.
To you about how to minimize the political polarization during the general election.
Okay, so how to minimize political polarizations in election is the first, like in the conclusions, there is two suggestions for my research. The first is community, that as a citizen that have a right to choose in these elections, we should maintain unity by respecting each others and leading communication between groups. Okay, so democracy is a place where we discuss and work together. So from that, we will discuss about things that is a problem in these elections. We will discuss together, and the work together is the way we will finish it together. So there's discuss where we discuss about the problem and work hard together when we want to solve the problem. And then the second for the government is they must enforce the law of provocative or conflict-raising actors. So there will be a provocateur uh, that push a problem in the election. So from that, it will cause a polarization. So from that, government must strengthen their law to have the provocateurs have their own punishment.
Okay, and there are many black campaigns such as hoax, and how to minimize this in the next general election.
Okay, so how to minimize this problem in the next general election is the first by maintain education's of black campaign or politic polarizations. But the main thing is we know about what is elections and then the impact if we don't face it with perfect. And then after educations, we as citizens of this country, we should be more known about the conditions of our country. So we should have our own attitude to face what's the country conditions, such as if the elections in these generations or in this era is more bad, and then we as a citizens in the next election must do it more better.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. You can close the presentation.
Okay, that's all for me. Thank you for listening. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.